Welcome to Georgia Highlands College Math 97 and Math 99 video tutorials. In this video segment, we'll be answering the question, how do you subtract rational expressions with unlike denominators? So the first step you're going to do is just like addition, except when you get to the part where you usually add them, you're going to be subtracting them and distributing that -1. So you find the LCD first. You write equivalent expressions with the LCD as the denominator, and you do that by multiplying by the clever form of 1. Subtract your numerators over your LCD, and this means you're going to have to distribute that -1 once you've subtracted. Combine any like terms in the numerator, and finish it off by factoring and simplifying. Let's take a look at an example. All right, so I have the example here, 5 over y squared minus 5y minus y over 5y minus 25. So the first step in this process is to find the LCD. So I just need to factor each of these denominators. Y squared minus 5y has a common factor of y, and when I divide that out, I'm left with y minus 5. And 5y minus 25 has a GCF of 5, and when I factor that out, I'm left with y minus 5. So the next step in finding the LCD is to list out the factors of the first denominator, so y times y minus 5, and add any factors in the second denominator that aren't already in the list. So we've already got a y minus 5, so we don't need that, but we do need an extra factor of 5. So our LCD for this problem is, we'll actually put the 5 out front just to keep it in good form. 5y times y minus 5. So we have 3 factors there, 5y and y minus 5. All right, so moving back to the problem, we want to go ahead and write the original problem with the denominators factored. So y times y minus 5 and 5 times y minus 5. And give yourself plenty of room to come back and make equivalent fractions. And to do that, we multiply by 1 in the form of whatever factor over whatever factor we need to make the LCD. So with this first expression, we need a 5, or a factor of 5 in there. And with the second expression, we need a factor of y. All right, moving along, you actually do the multiplication, so there, and put it over what is now your common denominator. So this first expression gives 25 over 5y times y minus 5 minus y times y is y squared over 5y times y minus 5. And putting our numerators over our common denominator, we're subtracting the numerators. So 25 minus, now normally you'd want to use parentheses here because you may have a polynomial that negative needs to distribute to. So I'll just go ahead and write the y squared in parentheses there. And that's over our common denominator of 5y times y minus 5. So there is an understood -1 that gets multiplied with that y squared, giving us 25 minus y squared over 5 times y minus 5. All right, bells and whistles should be going off because this numerator is not in standard form. When we rearrange it into standard form, you may notice, hey, that's beginning to look like a difference of squares. It's not quite a difference of squares yet, but if we simply factor out a -1, we are left with a difference of squares, y squared minus 25. over 5 times y minus 5. All right, so since that binomial in the numerator is a difference of squares, it can be factored as y plus 5 times y minus 5. That's all over our common denominator of 5 times y minus 5. So we do have common factors that divide out because anything divided by itself is 1. You can see that we have a negative being divided by a positive. So that's just going to make our entire expression negative. I can just bring that negative 1 out front to multiply with the entire expression. And we have left in the numerator y plus 5 and in the denominator 5y. Now it may be very tempting to come back and divide these y's out. You cannot do that. That is not correct because the y in the numerator is a term. And when you are dividing those factors out, you only divide factors, never divide terms. So that's your final answer, negative y plus 5 over 5y. So I hope that this has been helpful for you. It was definitely a complex example in looking at how to subtract rational expressions with unlike denominators. So a real quick recap: find the LCD, write equivalent expressions, multiplying by 1, subtract the numerators over the LCD. Don't forget to distribute that negative. Combine your like terms, factor and simplify. If you have any other questions about adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing, anything about rational expressions, make sure to contact your Highlands instructor. Thank you.